So next up, podcast listeners, we have the dumbest bill in America. And do we have a lead up, Mr. Producer?
Of course.
Here it is.
Dum 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 dum.
And it's the dumbest bill in America, and it is Senate Bill 82. California legalizes theft. You heard that correctly. The state of California is trying to legalize theft. And Senate Bill 82, introduced by Senator Nancy Skinner from, of course, the San Francisco Bay Area, the very woke area where theft is okay. Wonder how long the retailer is going to be open there. Well, just to give you some ideas about what this bill is about, here's CBS Sacramento reporting on Senate Bill 82. We have that clip, and here it is.
Yeah, the bill hopes to redefine robbery, Tony, and the penalties that come with it. But tonight it's something that some people are calling simply a slap on the wrist.
It's going to declare open season on Californians.
Yuba County District Attorney Clint Curry says the crime bill would wreak havoc on our communities. SB 82 would turn robberies of less than $950 that don't involve weapons or cause serious injuries into petty theft.
Yes, so it would be just a petty theft if you rob someone of merchandise that is $950 or less. So I just want to read a little bit from Senate Bill 82 so you understand. The existing law, the Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act, enacted as an initiative statute by Proposition 47, as approved by blah, 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 requires the theft of money, labor, property to be considered petty theft, punishable as a misdemeanor of up to 6 months in jail and so forth. This bill, however, Senate Bill 82, would define the crime of petty theft in the first degree as taking the property from the person of another or from a commercial establishment by means of force or fear without the use of a deadly weapon or great bodily injury. The bill, here it is, podcast listeners, are ready? The bill would specifically exclude from the crime of petty theft in the first degree, acting in concert with one or more persons to steal merchandise from one or more merchants' premises or online marketplace with the intent to sell, exchange, or return the merchandise for value. And so effectively, what we're saying is that the bill allows you to steal legally. And if you're a police officer and you're on the beat and you're walking and a merchant runs out the front door and says, "That guy just stole from me, officer, go get him." And of course, in current normal America, the officer would naturally be more than happy to apprehend the individual, chase them down, apprehend them, arrest them for theft. And then they would be prosecuted. And that's what we call the teaching moment. That's why you're prosecuted for stealing, because someone needs to teach you, because apparently you didn't learn that from mom and dad, which is a whole nother issue. But now, of course, why would any officer go and chase the person for petty theft who's stealing under $950 worth of stuff? Because they're not going to be prosecuted. And you know they're not going to be prosecuted in California. Most definitely not in the greater San Francisco area. And this is San Francisco area. And this is a coordinated effort, podcast listeners, because as you know, George Soros is getting these crazy prosecutors elected throughout the state of California. And they don't want to prosecute any crime. So naturally, the next step is to get these bills passed. So we have a number of other clips. You're going to love this. Here's NBC Bay Area reporting on SB 82. Here's that clip.
Yeah, they say proposed criminal justice reform could actually lead to more crimes. NBC Bay Area's Christy Smith is live in Oakland with more on that. Christy.
Well, Terry, several people spoke out about the crimes today here in Oakland, crimes that people have seen, many of them recorded on surveillance cameras. Well, this event was led by the Oakland Chinatown Chamber of Commerce, and several people who spoke said that they were concerned about the possible unintended consequences of SB 82.
This is when you know the media is getting dumber. And by definition, I feel like maybe all of America is getting dumber. Because that was NBC Bay Area reporting, and the anchor there says, some say that if SB 82 were to get passed, that crime might go up. It's like, well, what do you mean some say? Any reasonable person knows that if you're legalizing theft up to $950, you're literally legalizing it in California. You're going to have more of it. More of it. And so how do we, who are these people? Who is this Nancy Skinner, Senator Nancy Skinner, who put this in? We're going to read about her in a minute. But first, she released a statement. She wouldn't even talk to the media, which is another issue, podcast listeners, because if you're a true journalist, an investigative journalist, you would not in any way, shape, or form accept just a statement from Nancy Skinner. You would pursue her. You would go to her door where she actually lives and say, look, Senator Skinner, I know that you've released a statement and you think that's enough, but we actually want to talk to you about SB 82 because we want to talk to you about the unintended consequences of the bill and why you think that that's okay. Oh, by the way, Nancy Skinner, have you actually ever owned a business in your life? Have you ever owned a storefront, bricks and mortar storefront in your life? Do you know what's happening to those people in the San Francisco Bay Area now, where they have roving gangs going through? Well, here's NBC reporting on Nancy Skinner's official statement to the news outlet. Of course, she won't talk to them in person because she doesn't think she has to. Here's that clip.
Now, again, her office is saying in that statement in part that if enacted, SB 82 will not change or reduce the criminal penalty on violent assaults. They added that it would update a statute that allowed prosecutors to elevate a petty theft into a felony robbery and would establish a distinction between theft and robbery for cases when no deadly weapon was used and no one was seriously injured. Again, people here, though, saying that they are concerned about possible consequences. Reporting live in Oakland, Christy Smith, NBC.
Yes, people are concerned about possible consequences. I mean, that's the news media, right? People are concerned. People aren't concerned about, people are terrified of the consequences because we are already seeing what those consequences are. There are coordinated crime sprees in the greater San Francisco area that are forcing the retailers to close their stores and limit their hours. And that's because California wants to raise the threshold for felonies from $450 to $950 in stolen goods. And so Fox News reports coordinated crime sprees in major cities in California, New York, and elsewhere are forcing retailers to close stores and limit hours as packs of shoplifters, these are gangs, not packs, gangs of shoplifters regularly make off with hundreds of dollars worth in merchandise to be resold online at street markets or returned for gift cards. So I got to tell you something. That is the ultimate in guts, right? You go, you rip off the store, $950 worth of stuff, and you do it in a way that you have, like 10 people in the store at the same time. And the store can't keep track of who's stealing what, but they know something's going down. And then you all run out. And then you come back 5 days later, or you send your sister or your brother or someone who wasn't there at the time, and you return the merchandise for gift cards. I mean, that's unbelievable. So amid a crime wave sweeping San Francisco, 5 Target store locations are reducing their operating hours. So as you can imagine, this is wreaking havoc in the greater San Francisco area and in New York. So here's KPIX reporting that the Bay Area Asian community fears there are going to be more thefts and more hate attacks. So if you are listening to the podcast, you'll, of course, hear KPIX reporting about how the Asian community is already getting attacked, primarily, by the way, by individuals in the Black community. And they have stores. The Asian community has many stores in the greater San Francisco area, and those stores are being ripped off. And they don't know how to fight back. And how would you know how to fight back when you have Senator Nancy Skinner who wants to legalize theft? So they're like, well, wait a minute. We're already having problems. The bill passes. Now the problem's going to grow exponentially. And you can hear this, of course, but if you were to see it online, on YouTube, on Facebook or elsewhere, you'll see some of the attacks where these Black bandits are attacking people and pulling, some of them grandmothers, taking their purse, knocking them to the ground, hurting them. Well, that wouldn't, of course, fall under something that you would prosecute. So here's KPIX reporting. We have that clip, and here it is.
Hey, Brian, they were talking about Senate Bill 82 or SB 82, which would reclassify robberies and turn them into petty crimes. Now, a lot of the Chinese leaders are saying if that is done, it would not just hurt Chinese seniors, but also everyone who lives in the state. Opponents of the bill filled the Pacific Renaissance Plaza this afternoon. Oakland Chinatown leaders say if SB 82 is enacted, many of the recent attacks would be considered petty crimes.
We think that this bill, especially at this time, is tone deaf.
East Bay State Senator Nancy Skinner wrote the bill. Under SB 82, robberies that do not involve deadly weapons and don't result in serious injuries would be considered petty crimes. For example, this robbery of a grandmother in Oakland last month would be considered a first-degree petty crime if she wasn't badly hurt and the robbery amount wasn't over $950.
So you can injure someone, steal their stuff, and it's not like really a crime as long as you didn't get really hurt, as long as you just got hurt a little bit. So Nancy Skinner, this is her bill, Senator Nancy Skinner, SB 82 is her bill. She is, according to her own website, a social justice advocate, energy and climate change trailblazer, an accomplished legislator. Nancy Skinner was first elected to the Senate in 2016 after completing 3 terms in the state assembly, which is the lower house. Senator Skinner currently serves as chair of the Senate Budget and Fiscal Review Committee and vice chair of the Legislative Women's Caucus. Skinner has authored groundbreaking laws like SB 206, the Fair Pay to Play Act, making California the first state to give college athletes the right to earn money from their name, images, and likeness, SB 1421 opening up police misconduct records for the first time in 40 years, and SB 1437 overhauling California's unjust felony murder rule. While in assembly, she authored AB 153 requiring Amazon and other internet retailers to collect sales tax. I mean, so it's like she is really proud of the fact that she likes to tax the heck out of you. She likes to decriminalize things that are commonsensical with respect to criminal law, like stealing from people. And she is the author of Senate Bill 82, which legalizes theft in California. And that is the dumbest bill in America.